International backlash against Donald Trump intensified this week as senior world leaders openly criticized U.S. policy during high-level security meetings in Europe, including a major conference in Oslo. Their remarks came amid renewed scrutiny of Trump's claims surrounding Russia, Ukraine, and the recent release of the Epstein files. Earlier in the day, Trump told reporters in the Oval Office that the release of Epstein-related documents had completely vindicated him. That assertion is directly contradicted by the records themselves, which include thousands of references to Trump across tens of thousands of pages. During the same appearance, Trump also revealed that he had recently spoken with Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to Trump, Putin assured him that missile strikes on Ukraine would pause due to extreme winter conditions. Trump went further, publicly suggesting that Kyiv would not be targeted and that Ukraine would experience a period of calm. Relying on those assurances, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the public, stating that there had been no missile or drone strikes during the day, and noting that when the United States applies real pressure, circumstances can change. However, that calm was short-lived. Within hours, Russia launched one of its most extensive attacks in recent months. Ballistic and cruise missiles, along with drone strikes, hit multiple Ukrainian cities, including Kyiv. Residential areas were struck, apartment buildings caught fire, and civilians were forced to shelter in underground metro stations. As explosions echoed through the city, observers described the attack as a severe breach of trust. Journalists and analysts noted that Trump's assurances were followed almost immediately by widespread bombardment. Images from Kyiv showed families huddled underground as emergency sirens sounded throughout the night. At the Oslo Security Conference, senior European officials addressed what they described as a growing crisis in global leadership. Poland's deputy prime minister and foreign minister spoke in a room historically associated with the Nobel Peace Prize and referenced recent public discussions. He stated that while he would consider nominating Trump for a peace prize if a fair resolution were achieved, the standard for a fair peace would be non-negotiable. The Polish official also criticized Trump's rhetoric and actions on international issues, warning that these approaches undermine long-standing alliances. Norway's prime minister addressed the audience next, expressing concern over the United States' withdrawal from international institutions. He specifically referenced the removal of the U.S. flag from the World Health Organization headquarters, calling it a serious setback to global security. He warned that future pandemics are inevitable and that international cooperation is essential to managing those threats. The Norwegian leader also criticized the reintroduction of tariffs against U.S. allies, describing them as a reversal of decades of economic cooperation. He pointed to recent tariff threats linked to geopolitical disputes as evidence of a shifting and destabilizing approach to diplomacy. Norway's foreign minister followed by highlighting the unintended consequences of Russia's aggression. Finland and Sweden's decisions to join NATO have reshaped European security. He emphasized that this shift has strengthened intelligence sharing, defense coordination, and regional unity. Poland's deputy prime minister returned to the podium to address Arctic security, arguing that limiting Russia's access to energy revenues is essential. He stressed the importance of unity among European allies in addressing rising tensions in the Arctic region. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts continued elsewhere. In Japan, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with Japan's Prime Minister. Starmer warned that geopolitical conflict directly impacts everyday life, from energy prices to supply chains. The two leaders reaffirmed their commitment to free trade, a stable Indo-Pacific region, and diversified supply chains, particularly in critical materials and advanced technologies. Back in Washington, new reporting raised concerns about financial dealings. According to a Wall Street Journal investigation, entities linked to the United Arab Emirates invested hundreds of millions into Trump-associated ventures. Around the same time, the U.S. approved the transfer of sensitive semiconductor technology to the UAE, a move experts describe as a significant risk. When asked directly about the investment, Trump denied personal involvement, stating that his family handled the business and he was unaware of details. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen later issued a statement reaffirming Europe's continued support for Ukraine. She announced additional aid, energy assistance, and a forthcoming sanctions package as the war approaches its fourth year. As diplomatic tensions rise and military strikes continue, global leaders are increasingly questioning the reliability of U.S. leadership and the consequences of unilateral decision-making in an already unstable world.